The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. I mean, the Jedi, the Witch, and the Warlord. We're talking Ahsoka, Episode 8, the finale to Season 1. And I say Season 1 because there has to be a Season 2, especially with the way things ended. However, before we jump into it, welcome to IJustWatched. I'm Joseph. Spoiler warning, just in case you haven't seen the episode yet. But let's get into it. Damn, this is a good episode. I really enjoyed everything about it. Am I a bit upset that it's 100% a setup? And I mean, we've left the galaxy, but we haven't left the new galaxy, and it ended kind of how we thought it might end, with Ahsoka, Sabine being stuck, at least it seems, on this new planet in this new galaxy. Balon off on this grand Lord of the Rings style looking adventure. Where is he going? Who talked to him? Who sent him on this journey? What is it leading to? Shin turned on her saber and looks like she's just trying to fit in and survive right now with these new planet raiders. And then the biggest thing, of course, is Thrawn is back. Thrawn is 100% back, and it looks like he's making his HQ out of Dathomir. What is his cargo? Is it a weapon? Is it soldiers? Is it a mix? Is it a combo? What's in that cargo that he was very specific and blatant about taking with him? Because I definitely thought we were going to get some kind of monster or something. Like, what was he dealing with there? Because going off the show, Ezra hasn't been messing with him. He even said it in this episode where, like, it's been too crazy, too fortified to attack or deal with on your own. So what is that cargo? What has he been dealing with that his night troopers seem so damaged and needed such intensive repairs in the ship itself as well, Chimera? Something clearly that he had to deal with. And this almost feels kind of like a setup. If you've seen Star Trek Into Darkness, aka number Dose, those missiles that are Khan's members, like, is this cargo something similar? Is there like this virus, a weapon, something to give him an upper hand that he has brought from this new galaxy? Because honestly, I don't think people understand how big of a deal it is. I mean, with Thrawn's return, the Empire is back. Yes, no, not at 100%, of course, but you're looking at a solid 50 to 60% in just numbers. People are going to flock to him. All these little factions and subgroups that are forming, trying to survive and stay hidden, they now have a head to this snake, and they're going to form quickly. And you're going to get even people who aren't or weren't a part of the Empire, but who dislike or hate the current republic, and you're probably going to get some separatist people left over as well who are just going to flock to it. So the numbers are going to go up extremely quickly. So Thrawn being back is a huge deal. So I definitely understand why we're getting a movie, but it feels like we need two movies. We need one to explain how Ahsoka, Sabine get off of this planet and out of that galaxy back into ours. Is it Ezra, who just reunited with Hera, Chopper in the Republic? But we also get this moment where Sabine, who's now rocking the Force, baby, she's like, what is that? Nah, it's nothing. Just shadows in the starlight. And I'm thinking the Purgle have returned, especially now that the mines are gone and the threat is gone. They're back. So are we just going to Pinocchio our way back home? The bigger question is, what is the consequences? Not just Thrawn's return, but what's going on this new planet, in this new galaxy. Balon clearly has a whole nother adventure going on that we need more information on. I feel like you can almost get a show just following his character and learning through that with him and Shin. Sadly, are we recasting, or are we just not going to go forward with it? I mean, I love the character, and it sucks that Rey can no longer portray him, because I think he did a great job with it. But I like what they presented. I want to know more, and I want to see where it goes and what it leads to, because it's clearly leading to something. So now I'm kind of there, like, what is this little, is he going to find maybe some old Jedi temple, maybe a Sith temple? Like, what's going to go on here? Where is that going to lead? Especially now you see the Force ghost of Anakin at the end. That only solidifies and confirms my initial thoughts, is that someone was talking to him and sent him on said mission or journey. So those are just like the setups, the bits that we're getting. There's so much to come from this. And you have Ezra who's going to tell them, like, Thrawn's back. And the war that we thought was Dunskies is starting back up. If we don't react or fix it or nip it in the butt immediately, we're gonna have to recycle the whole thing again. What does this do for episode 7, 8, 9? Yes, they've been planning small things to make it a bit more canon in the story, more cohesive, saying the Emperor's dead and be like, well, they say he is, kind of thing. Like little things that they've been dropping also in Mando and such to make it a more cohesive story. But these consequences seem so grand and major. The Thrawn is back. The Empire's back, and there's no reference or mention to that in 7, 8, 9. There's no, like, is this going to be the birth of the First Order? But it can be, because they know it exists. So the First Order felt kind of not new, and like it came out of nowhere in episode 7, versus this is clearly established and they know it exists. So I'm curious to see how that affects 7, 8, 9. Are we going to move forward with it, or how are they going to tell that story and reconnect it? On top of that, yes, there's a lot of information. There's some really beautiful, cool moments. I mean, the fact that you see Ezra building a replica of his master's saber was beautiful with the hilt and everything, the guard. It looked beautiful. It just confirms that he didn't want to use his saber anymore. He wanted to build a new one that represents who he is now, and thus he feels closer to his master. And who knows, maybe he's been communicating with him via the Force. I wouldn't be surprised. And thus now that's why he wanted to create a replica, because if I remember correctly, doesn't Thrawn have Kanan's saber inside Chimera, his destroyer? And Ahsoka loses a saber that gets destroyed by Morgan using the sword of Talzin. That's dope. I mean, the last time we saw that sword, if I remember correctly, is Clone Wars. So it's interesting to see, because to my knowledge, it looked like Ahsoka held on to it. We don't see it again, but she used it to defeat Morgan in that double swipe, which was beautiful, by the way. But seeing that, I was like, is she gonna keep the sword? Is the sword gonna like go back into the unknown, so to speak, to be summoned again by someone else at a later point? And we see the Great Mothers revive or zombify, so to speak, or just undeadify some of the night troopers to keep holding them back, which was cool to see with the green. And we finally got the green magic from them glowing from the eyes, and it was cool to see. I like that aspect of it. So like I said, this episode is jam-packed with some beautiful moments, some beautiful shots, like the two TIE fighters that just and take off when you're looking right at Thrawn. I thought that was beautiful. This episode has a good mix of beautiful moments and some crazy setup, and now I'm just kind of jonesing, like, how dare you do this to me? You said this was, if I remember correctly, it was supposed to be a limited series, when you clearly wrote a season 1 of a multi-season series. What are you doing, Filoni and Favreau? I need this. Don't do me like that. All right, I haven't heard anything about Mando. So where is this going? I needs to know. I gotta be honest, I love the show. I think it's definitely rewatchable. It has some of the best saber duels we've seen in a long time. Some great storytelling. I love the way they brought the characters to life, and it just made me hunger for more. And genuinely, but now I'm excited for it. I'm kind of like, whoa, this is gonna be fun. But I want to hear your thoughts, comments, questions, concerns, requests. I love hearing from you. But until next time, stay safe, be well, y con mucho amor. Adios.